welcome back to my channel, Butterfly Spirit 314. So guys, what I'm going to talk about today is the topic in this video. The title of this video is Dating Advice, What to Do When You Get Into a New Relationship with a Man or Woman, and I'm going to base it off of my experience. So, to start with, number one, when you get into a new relationship, you want to keep your hobbies and interests, okay? So, if you have hobbies like you play sports, like let's say like tennis, maybe golf, let's say maybe you play things like chess or video games or whatever as a hobby. If you do any of these things, when you get into a new relationship, I know you want to make your significant other like you, but to make sure that you can keep your self esteem and self worth and have time to yourself, you want to keep your hobbies and interests. You don't want to find yourself trying to stop doing these things just because your significant other wants you to, because the more you find yourself getting rid of your interests, the more you're going to find that you're going to get frustrated, and you may find yourself, when you talk to people that you know, like friends or family, you might find yourself, not being able to talk about, some of the things you've achieved, as a part of a hobby or interest. And if you have hobbies or interests, people are going to think that you're interesting, and they're going to think, wow, you've gotten this far with this, as opposed to, you just dropping your hobbies and just doing what your significant other wants you to do. Okay. You want to keep your interest because you want to have time to yourself. You want to have away time. You want to have personal time where you can do things that you like to do and that you enjoy. You know, you want to do that because it just gives you space from your significant other. I know when you get into a new relationship, you want to be around them all the time. And what if you move in with them one day? Then what do? You keep having your interests, okay? If your significant other is trying to stop you from um, doing whatever hobby or interest you have, um, as long as it's good for you to do and not illegal, you should go ahead and do that particular thing. And you can always explain to your significant other that, if they don't like the hobby and they don't want to participate in the hobby with you, then you can just tell them that, hey, in my free time, I'm going to go ahead and do this, you know, and I will do this by myself so that, it does not bother you and it does not get in the way of our relationship. Okay. Um, you don't want to get rid of your hobbies or interests. The reason why you don't want to get rid of your hobbies or interests because your hobbies and interests are what make you interesting. They're what make you shine. They're what give you your self-esteem and self-worth. You want to keep these things. If you get rid of your hobbies and interests and you only take up things that your significant other likes, you are going to become codependent. You'll become codependent if, let's say, if you were trying to not recreate the circumstance with your parents. Let's say your parents were arguing and fighting. If your parents were arguing and fighting and then eventually, they split and then you saw that as a kid and there are things you missed out on, you having a significant other and you trying to, keep a good relationship rather than what your parents had, okay, you will try to, you know, make everything good. And sometimes this could mean that you can find yourself doing behaviors that are not good. Like you could be controlling them, controlling their time, controlling what they wear, controlling where they go. You know what I mean? Just constantly getting under your significant other's skin. And you don't want to do that. If you find that you are codependent, if you find that out, one thing you can do is you can stop doing those codependent things. Okay. If you started doing it, stop. Stop doing that. Go back to your interests that you were interested in. I can understand if you've gone through a significant life change, and you find that you don't have the heart to do that particular hobby or interest anymore. But you can always find something else that helps you gain that worth that you need. Okay. Number two. Okay, let's see. So, what to do when you get into a new relationship with a man or woman? Number two. Um, so, number two is you want to wait. You want to wait a year to meet your significant other's family. Or you can always drag it out and, wait, let's say 2 years or 3 years to meet their family. Okay. The goal of this point is that you don't want to find yourself meeting your significant other's family, and then them ruining your relationship together. Okay. So I would say you want to put off meeting your significant other's family because when you guys first get together, you want to focus on building your relationship. And that involves it being just the two of you, okay? If you meet their significant other's family too early, let's say like the first date you meet their family, if you do that and their family has you know, a horrible like tinge to your relationship, then that can turn into problems. Okay, I know personally how that can be. Okay, so you don't want to get involved with your significant other's family. One thing you want to do is push it off. Give yourself time to be in a relationship, to get to know each other without all the conflict or drama. I'm not saying that your significant other's family is going to be these bad, horrible people, because they can always be nice, chilled, relaxed people. But it doesn't mean that that can be the case. It's possible, that it could happen where their family is mean or rude or something like that. So one thing you want to do is delay meeting your significant other's family. And you guys can talk about it and say, hey, we'll meet each other's family, let's say like 2 years or 3 years. And that's good because it gives you guys, like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, it gives you guys time to build your relationship. Okay. It gives you guys time to, not have any grievances earlier on. And a good thing is let's say you guys decide to go your separate ways. If you guys decide to do that and you haven't met each other's family, that makes it that much easier. I mean, it just does. Um, I guess all I have to say about that is kind of self-explanatory. Like I said, your significant other's family might be totally cool, and everything might be wonderful with the world with them, but you don't want to put that relationship out there too soon. Another reason is because let's say your significant other got out of a relationship with another girl, okay? And let's say, gentlemen, that um, let's say your girlfriend got a relationship with another guy, um, and her family, um, let's say her family is so used to that guy and they really liked him, but let's say she moved on with you, okay, gentlemen. So delaying her family knowing about you guys' relationship gives her family a chance to grieve the loss of that relationship. And let's say like 3 years after you guys get together, when you come and introduce yourself, there doesn't have to be that old baggage from the relationship that your girlfriend was in. Okay. Same thing goes for you, ladies. If let's say you were in a relationship with another guy. Okay. I know I'm saying this kind of crazy, but I'm just trying to illustrate on both sides. All right, ladies. So let's say you were in a relationship with a guy. Okay. And let's say you broke it off with him. Okay. Your family loved him to pieces. Okay. Well, if your family really loved, your ex-boyfriend, if you bring a new guy around too early, then that may cause your relationship to be a disaster for the new relationship because your family may have been so in love with that guy. Okay. You don't want to find whether, either of you guys are in a new relationship, you don't want to put the families, don't get them involved until they have to be. Because the families may have married themselves to the significant other that the girlfriend or boyfriend had that they really loved, but giving it some time and some space can allow them to heal those wounds that the family has. All right. Number 3, pay attention to first impressions with family members. So, pay attention to first impressions with other family members. This could reveal problems in the future. Okay. So, let's say you're 3 down, but I'm so sorry. Let's say you're 3 years down the road, and um, let's say we have a girl and a guy, their boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? And let's say girlfriend wants, her guy to meet her family, okay? So they've been dating for 3 years. The guy doesn't know anything about her family or friends or anything like that, but girlfriend wants him to meet her family. So because it's got a 3-year mark and they've decided, hey, this is the time to meet each other's families, girlfriend invites boyfriend over to her parents' house. Okay? And of course, at her parents' house, boyfriend is going to meet her mom, her dad, her brothers and sisters, cousins, grandparents, everybody, who wants to be involved. An ideal time for this would be, I'd say, like a holiday, like maybe 4th of July or Thanksgiving, if you're in the U.S. But, boyfriend is meeting a lot of new people. He's meeting his girlfriend's people, okay? And the reason why I'm telling you guys, like boyfriend, if you go to meet your significant other's family, okay, pay attention to the first impression, okay? Because, not everybody is going to be, not everybody is going to be mean. You may have a lot of people who say, oh, congratulations on your guys' relationship. I'm excited to meet you. You know what I mean? Everybody may be really, really nice. But then again, you may have a few people who don't like you. And that's the first impression. Like in the case what happened with boyfriend is his girlfriend's dad didn't shake his hand. However, mom gave, him a handshake and a hug, you know what I mean? And some other people in her family were rude, and they weren't nice. The reason why, like boyfriend, you want to pay attention to the first impressions is that first impressions tell you a lot about people. It tells you, how these people are going to act going forward. And I know people say, well, don't just use first impressions, but you do want to use first impressions, especially in your significant other's family, because you want to do this because you want to find out ahead of time who the people are that don't like you and don't want you around. Okay, and not that you have to see these people over and over and over again. You don't have to, but knowing who has the issue with you can tell you tons, and it can help you avoid them. So, boyfriend, he doesn't have to see her dad again. Unless him and his, girlfriend get married, they don't have to see dad. You know what I mean? Just discovering problems that can come up from people in girlfriend's family or boyfriend's family can be good because this helps, the couple to talk about it and to make decisions about how to move the relationship forward without having to include family. Because those mean and dramatic people in the family can be the ones who can try to rain on the relationship and just tear it to pieces, and then both people end up having to break up because of family. And that's really, 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 really not fair. Okay. Like I said, don't ignore first impressions. Just take them, just keep them for now. If people change in the future, in your significant other's family, that's good. But if you find that you go around them multiple times and they're just, they're just a problem, just, tell your significant other, hey, I really like you, but there's some people in your family that I think don't really like me, and kind of just go from there and see what you guys can decide on. Not taking those first impressions and just thinking everybody's nice and they're not. Um, that can lead to a big mistake, and after that mistake, it can lead to a lot of fights and arguments, and that's just not something that you want to do. Okay. Number 4, find out each other's love language in your relationship. So each of you guys have love languages, okay? If you guys have ever heard of Gary Chapman, then you know what I mean by love language, okay? So there's people out there who have physical touch love language. This means that they feel loved by being touched. So this could mean that they feel love from getting a hug, getting a kiss, cuddling together, you know. Sex can be another thing as far as physical touch, massage, a kiss to the forehead, a kiss on the hand, a kiss on the cheek, rubbing your significant other's back. These are examples of physical touch. Okay. There's also the love language of words of affirmation. So this would be things where you say things to your partner that make them feel good. You affirm, how much you love them. You tell them, oh, you did really good at this. You tell them, oh my gosh, that was amazing what you did. You make them feel loved by saying good words um, about them so they feel that love and it can fill up their love tank. Okay. You have quality time as a love language. Quality time is going to be where your significant other may have a love language of quality time, which means that they feel love when you spend time with them. So let's say you guys go on dates. Let's say you go on a vacation. Let's say you guys just talk for hours about this and that. Let's say you guys, tell each other jokes and you laugh and you have fun. You know what I mean? Quality time is about being together. And somebody can fill up their love tank as long as they can spend time with you, and they can feel loved from that. So that's going to be quality time. Okay. Let me think of what else is another one. Oh, another love language is acts of service. So acts of service, if somebody has this love language, it means that they feel love when they have someone else to do something for them. So for somebody to do services for them. So if you give your significant other a back rub, that's a service. Okay. If you go get them a cup of coffee, that's a service. If you, let's say you take their dry cleaning to the cleaners, that is going to be a service. Let's say, you order in and then you pick up the food from a restaurant. That's an act of service. Whatever types of service they want you to do, it fills up their love tank the more services and things that you do for them. Okay. So those are all the love languages that I feel that there are. If you want to know more about it, you can just Google love languages in Gary Chapman or Gary Chapman's love languages, and then you'll be able to find it. You can look up the 5 love languages, and it'll get you there. Gary Chapman has this whole book about it. I've read it, so I know a little bit about it, and I just kind of became more aware about, what's been happening. So I just wanted to kind of know, like, where am I with, the with my love language as it changed to what. So know each other's love language. If one of you has a quality time love language where you want to be around your significant other and you feel love when you're around them, spending undivided attention with them, then, if your significant other has that love language, you know that to fill up their love tank, to make them feel loved, you have to do things that revolve around quality time. When they talk to you, make sure you have your phone off and you give them your undivided attention. Okay. Make sure you go to bed with them, so you guys can talk before you go to sleep. When you wake up, talk, take times out of your day to focus undividedly on your significant other. Dates are a really good example of doing that. But if somebody has a significant other who has quality time, be aware of that. I read an article about quality time love language, so you guys can definitely look that up to kind of get some ideas of what you can do if your significant other has this love language. Let's say you have the love language of words of affirmation. If you have this, you want your partner to affirm, love for you, to tell you, you know, things like, you may want your partner to give you compliments. You may want your partner to say how well you did at something. You may need to have your partner to motivate you to achieve something. These are different things associated with the words of affirmation. You can also look up information about this, but everybody has a different love language. And the way that you show love is going to be by speaking their love language. When you speak it, they feel love. And that can help you guys to both, grow the relationship by being aware of it. Okay. Um, don't don't ignore how each of you guys love. Don't ignore that because if you ignore it, then both of you guys are going to be miserable, and you're not going to be able to show how much you guys value and care for each other. And then, if you don't, then your relationship could end, and I'm sure you don't want that. All right. Let's see what else. Oh, oh my goodness. Hold on. I kind of flew up there. All right. So number 5, learn to communicate early by reading relationship books, so you guys are prepared for when you have arguments, which can cause you guys to have distance. When you guys first get into a relationship together, you guys will talk all the time. You'll enjoy each other. Everything will be new. You'll be learning so much stuff about your significant other, and you'll just love it. But at some point, what's going to happen is you guys are going to have your first fight, your first argument. Okay. And when I say fight, I don't mean like you guys are fist fighting. I don't mean anything like that. I just mean that you guys disagree. And you have to be prepared for that. People think just because you can communicate and you guys speak the same language, it means you guys have good communication. Okay? But that doesn't mean that. Okay? And the thing is that each of you is going to be taught about how to argue, how to disagree, and how to fight. Okay? And you can get that from growing up as a kid and you seeing your parents do it. Okay? And one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure you guys can solve problems. You want to do that because when you guys have an argument, that is a problem. Okay? It is a problem. It can be fixed if you guys find yourselves arguing over and over and over again. It can happen. I would say at the beginning of the relationship, you want to read relationship books so you know how to deal with conflict together. And think about how conflict, how you've seen it illustrated in front of you. And then, read the relationship book so you guys can both learn how to disagree, but you disagree so that you can find a solution rather than just saying things, arguing, hurting each other. You don't want to do that, okay? You want to make sure that you can meet that. Don't just think because in the beginning you guys communicated well and understood each other and things that that's going to help you be able to solve disagreement and conflict in a relationship because it's not. A lot of couples are going to disagree. A lot of you guys are going to. But it's about having the tools to be able to find a solution rather than just finding guys arguing and fighting because you guys may be a great couple and yes, you may be different, but you still need to be able to solve problems because there's going to be a lot that comes up in your relationship that you have to be able to solve together. You want to find a solution. Don't just be arguing and fighting because if all you guys do is argue and fight, it's just going to make you guys just sad, depressed, angry, and much more. So you want to just make sure that you guys are able to work out the conflict so that it doesn't get so bad. If for some reason you guys cannot, um, if for some reason you guys, can't read a book together because you guys have been arguing so much, then go to a relationship counselor. They will be able to help you guys with, solving the conflict. All right. Number 6, talk about the tough stuff. So at the beginning of your relationship, what you want to do is you want to talk about the tough stuff. Some people talk about the tough things, when they first meet somebody that they think they'll be interested in. But that could be a bit much. That would be drawing a line in the sand, and you don't want to offend somebody on the first date. So let's say you guys got together. Talk about the tough stuff, okay? And it's okay to take time to decide on these things. But set up the time to talk about things like, do you guys see yourselves being together for a long time? Do you guys see yourselves living together if you're not already? Do you feel that you guys would get married someday? Um, are you guys religious, or is one of you not religious? Do you see yourselves having children? Okay. Do you see yourselves, living separately? Talk about the tough things like this. You don't want to get into the stuff too early, but if for some reason you and your significant other, let's say one of you wants to have kids, one of you doesn't, it's good to talk about this so you guys can decide if you can get past this. So this will be one of those conflicts. If one of you wants kids and one doesn't, it's a good idea to be like, and you guys can always come back to it. Like I said, if you guys are able to communicate and solve conflicts like this, then you can move forward. Now, some people would say, oh, well, my significant other doesn't want to have kids, but I do, we should just break it off. You don't have to do that. I would say give it time to see what is it that you really, really, really want to do. And just go from there. Make sure you guys communicate, okay? Make sure you do that. Don't assume that your significant other is just going to believe what you do, because they may hold very tightly to their belief in whatever they want. They don't want kids, or they're not religious. You can't make them be that way. You can't change them. What you can do is you can be that person who's willing to hear what they have to say and try to work out a solution for both of you. The solution doesn't have to be breaking up, because you guys may get along so well together. All right? All right, number 7. Come on, dear.